Hello, and welcome to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. So last episode we finished encapsulating our base in some insulated tiles, and we managed to build some bedrooms and individual bathrooms for each duplicate. Currently we have a residence of about 6 duplicates in our base, and I've just built a room for a 7th one. And in between episodes I've just been kind of sitting here and letting them slowly clean up the place. Which is taking a little while, but they're getting it done. And of course we're depositing it all down here in this one little area. With that, however, I decided to start recording as I looked at our blueprints here and noticed Amari here. So Amari has +8 in creativity and has interior decorator, which gives her 3 more creativity, or gives him 3 more creativity. They are a shabby dresser, which I find ironic, but you know, everyone has to have a bit of a downside. And I think that all of his creative knowledge in, art and architecture, it's just not going into his clothing. But we're going to take Amari here, only just because you could obviously wait till later on in your bases until you get like a dedicated decorator. But if you have an opportunity like this where it's just this good of a role, it doesn't hurt to take them. So basically, this entire time we've had no one do decorating. That's going to be solely Amari's job. Amari's going to focus on decorating, and then when they're not busy decorating, they can do some storing, right? They can do some cleaning up. I guess technically that would be you, right? That would be tidying instead of storing. And if we go into skills, right, you want Amari to focus purely on art fundamentals. When they finish masterwork, then you can go down here and give them improved carrying, and maybe some improved tidying. But first you want to focus on this, and you don't want them to do any artwork until they get masterworks. Only just because if you create artworks that are less than a masterwork, then it doesn't give the total decor bonus that you could get out of that masterwork, or out of that sculpture or painting, and you'll eventually just have to, deconstruct them all and rebuild them again when your decorator can make art masterworks. So, alright, well I'm going to let them continue cleaning this place up, and then we will work on our next expansion. Alrighty, so we've cleaned up the base, and we've moved our ladder a little bit more over to the left here to better fit where we want our bedrooms. And in the future, if we want to get more duplicates, what we're going to need to do is add another floor up here on the top, and we can add another bedroom. We don't even need to expand really the right side, just the left side, to get more bedrooms to kind of fit our base idea. But what we're going to work on now is called a water lock, right? So the way the water lock works is you kind of take the edge of your base, right? And you have your 2-block entrance, and you start going down in a V shape like this, right? So you have a block here, here, going up like that. Then you have 2 blocks right here in the middle, so you have a 2 tall gap right there. And then you can just do that, or block it off like that. And we'll let them finish building this. While they're building that, you're going to want to put 2 bottle emptiers facing towards the inside of your V that you just built. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. He seems to be very upset. Alright, he has received the adequate amount of scratches and scritches, so hopefully he will calm down. But we'll see. Alright, so now that you've got the kind of outline here set up, you go to your bottle emptiers, click water, and you enable auto bottle. Enabling auto bottle just means that they'll come in and pull water from pitcher pumps and deliver them, instead of just water kind of sitting on the ground. So as they deliver this, you'll see water starts to get kind of put into here, right? And the way the game works and the way reality works is gas and liquids really can't occupy the same space. That's a lie. Gas can be infused into liquids. That's possible. But the way Oxygen Not Included works, gases and liquids can't occupy the same space. So because of that, we have all of our interior gases, right? And then we have the water here and everything that's outside of the base. So the idea here is you're going to want to put all your oxygen mass stations here, or eventually your your suit's docks right here. And so anytime a duplicate wants to leave the base, they're always wearing, you know, adequate protection and such. And right here, you want to stop it. You see where I have 1,000 kilograms of water? 1,000 kilograms is one tile. So this does not need to be filled up anymore. As long as you kind of have this suction effect here, where it fills up these two blocks and has a little bit in both of these, your water block is complete. Or your water lock, not block. You can go ahead and just kind of sweep up the excess here. And I seem to have gotten rid of my bottle emptier down here. Alright, so now that your water lock is complete, your base is pretty much completely sealed off. Mine isn't completely yet because I need access to the water down here still. But soon, hopefully, I won't. Let me set the sweep only in some water. So from here on out, we can now start expanding outwards around our base and start exploring more of our starter asteroid here. Next up on the agenda is to probably expand, or well, we need to re-expand our farm because this is not enough food to take care of 7 duplicates. And we were going to set up a carbon skimmer down here on the bottom to start getting rid of this carbon dioxide that's building up. Actually, I take that back, We're not going to be using a carbon skimmer, not at first. Only just because if you go into your research, right, and you look at rockets, where am I wanting to look? It's not showing, but when you do research into rocketry, your first engine is called a bottle rocket engine, and it basically uses carbon dioxide as fuel. So a good idea, at least, is early game to set up a kind of system down here that basically will suck in all of the carbon dioxide and filter out all of the non-carbon dioxide and store all your carbon dioxide in a tank. And you can eventually use that as fuel for your first rocket ship. So actually, I'm going to build that real quick, and or at least I'm going to get that start set up, and I'll show you how to build that. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is first get your gas reservoir. You can learn how to get the gas reservoir in research down here, right past your IC fan under the gases tab. It is located under HVAC. Also, by the way, if you're ever looking for something specific such as gas reservoir, you can come up here in the top left and just type in gas res, and it'll have it. Also, here we go. Here's our first carbon dioxide engine, by the way. What I was talking about earlier. This is going to be your kind of first rocket engine. So once you have your gas reservoir researched, you can come in here and throw it kind of in the corner. I'd throw it as far to the right corner or left corner as you can to make room just in case if you need to build multiple gas reservoirs. And once you have that built, you're going to go into ventilation and you're going to get yourself a gas pump, right? We're going to throw this gas pump close to the most middle of your base, right? So our middle of the base is about here. So I'm going to throw it here. And then right after that, we're going to get ourselves a gas filter. We're going to have our pipe go into the filter, and we're going to want the filter gas to come out and go into our tank. And you want to make sure you put just one pipe on the exit, right? Just right there, right on the exit point, because if you do not put a pipe on the exit, then the gas won't go into the tank. Instead, it'll sit in your pipe, and it won't want to go to the tank because it needs to think that it can leave the tank to go somewhere else, even though you don't have this pipe hooked up to anything. So make sure you have your pipes hooked up to the input, and you just have one pipe built on the output for now. On your filter, you're also going to want to just go up and throw yourself a gas vent. This will be for the gases that burn carbon dioxide, right? Such as oxygen and stuff. In your filter, you want to click carbon dioxide. So now the way the filter works is you have your input, your green output, and the yellow is the filtered output. So we're going to have gases coming into here. Carbon dioxide will specifically leave through the middle, and all other gases will be vented back out into the area. Now, the one issue with what we currently have is this is just going to go on forever, right? It's going to keep going on and on and on, and it's going to waste a bunch of power. That's where automation comes in. However, we are missing, research-wise, what we need. We're going to need the gas element sensor here. So we're going to start that research tree there. And we're going to take a look at what duplicate we have next. Ooh, it's a bunch of stuff that I'm not really interested in right now. Alright, so we're gonna plug in what we got. Just like that. Pipe blocked. Is that because... Oh, it's because this isn't powered. Okay. So for right now, we are going to cut... Oh. Well, we're gonna let this just run itself. Just start getting rid of some carbon dioxide anyways. While we're researching our automation, and we're going to fill up our farm as well. Let's get our mealwood seeds back in. And sweep up all this excess dirt. And we'll clean up a bit. So as you can see, we're already filling up our gas reservoir. By quite a bit, actually. So I think we're actually going to build a second one. The way you want to set up piping for a second one is real simple. We're just going to have this come up in the input like that. And output's going to go just like that. So it's going to go through this tank, fill up this tank. So it's going to fill up the back tank first, then start filling up the front tank. Alright, well, I'm going to be right back when our automation's complete. So, real quickly, to do any type of automation, you're going to need what's called refined metal. And eventually you can build like a fancy metal refinery, but until then, you're going to have to build what's called a rock crusher. Which, by the way, you find the rock crusher right here in solid materials, the first one. What the rock crusher does is it takes your ore and refines it into, you know, refined version of that ore. For example, for us, it's going to be copper. However, it does this at an inefficient rate, right? So it uses 100 kilograms of ore to only produce 50 kilograms of refined copper. The other 50 kilograms is sand. When you get your metal refinery, you can do it, you know, 100 to 100, 1-to-1 kind of ratio. So I just kind of have this going forever. We're going to build up just a bit of refined copper. And now that our research is done, we're going to take a gas element sensor. We're going to throw it right down next to our gas pump, right? And then we're going to hook up an automation wire to the gas sensor. So you click on the gas sensor, and you want our pump to only go off when it detects carbon dioxide, right? You want it to be like, oh, if it doesn't see any carbon dioxide, obviously we don't want to be pumping because there's no point for the pump to be moving. So at this point, our carbon dioxide levels have decreased exponentially, and we've filled up our gas reservoirs. Now, so this solution is really good. In the long term, it may not be that good, right? Because until we get rockets that we can start dumping all this carbon dioxide into, when those tanks fill up, our base will start filling up with carbon dioxide, right? That's when you set up a carbon skimmer, which... to do that, you go in here in oxygen, carbon skimmer. Once again, you want your carbon skimmer to be kind of near the middle of your base, so we're going to put it where our bottle interior here is. And I think we're going to have to close up the floor here as well. So, we're going to go carbon skimmer. I'm going to put this bad boy just basically right next to our gas pump. And, ooh, actually, I don't think that's gonna fit. Refinements, water sieve. No, that's not gonna fit. We are gonna have to shift everything over to the right. Just one time, I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that's gonna be best. Alright, so back to what I was saying. What you're going to need to do is go into oxygen, get yourself a carbon skimmer. You're going to place that bad boy down right there. And you're going to go refinement, water sieve, and you're going to place that down right... yeah, just like that, where the inputs and outputs are set up like this. You can take your pipes, output to input, input to output, just like that. Real simple. And then we're gonna have to prime this with a bit of water. So what we're gonna do is... we're gonna steal some water from our plumbing system. I think is gonna be the idea here. Let's throw ourselves a liquid bridge. Connect there, connect there. And we really don't need this anymore. We actually don't even need that, so we can cancel the bridge. Just directly connect those. We'll let them finish that up. Alrighty. So, as you can tell, it's moving, right? But we don't see any water going in. This happens because the water wants to go into this input, but it also detects that there's an output. And water always wants to leave an output. So it's actually just going to take this input over. The way to fix this is just cut that pipe, and then the water will want to go to input. So we're going to let this go. And I think we're going to cut it about... Nope. I'm going to cut it here. Which, by the way, I'm using the snippers tool, I think is what it's called, or Pliers tool. It's really useful, very useful mod. It just is like a quality of life mod, which allows you to be able to like snip pipes while they're moving and stuff, instead of having to delete the entire pipe, which then gets water over the floor, and it's really annoying and inconvenient. It's just a great mod, which honestly should just be in the base game itself. But we've set up our carbon skimmer, which isn't really activating right now because there is no carbon dioxide. No, instead what you're going to want to do is actually set up an automation system where we want the carbon skimmer to work when our tanks are full, right? So when our tanks are full of carbon dioxide, then this pump is useless, so we want the carbon skimmer to start eating up the excess carbon dioxide. Now I'm going to quickly set up the automation system and explain it to y'all. Alrighty, so now the automation system's set up. The way it works, first of all, we're going to be working on our frontmost tank, right? Because as I said, the gas is going to want to fill up the last tank first and then fill up this one. So we know our system's full when this tank is full. And if you look at your high and low thresholds, if you hover over your little bar, it says it sends a red signal from the reservoir it's 100% full. And this red signal lasts until it's empty. AKA, it's going to tell things not to work until it's empty, then they should work, right? So if you go into automation, right, we actually want the opposite of that, right? We want when it's 100% full for our carbon skimmer to start working, and when it's empty to stop working. So we use a NOT gate, right? So you can find a NOT gate right here in your automation. All this does is turn one signal into the opposite, right? So it turns green signals into red signals into green signals. So right now, while the tank is not full, it's going to tell the carbon skimmer not to work. And then when it does get full, it's going to go red, which then turns into a green signal, and your carbon skimmer will start working. This is a really simple, just kind of combination solution here. Another thing to do is you want a OR gate, right? I believe. I don't think we have that researched. AND gate, OR gate. Yeah, you're going to want an AND gate eventually, actually. Because, you know, this may want to try to run while this is also running. To fix that, you can just get yourself an AND gate and say, if this is green and this is green, right? Or no. Oh boy. Okay. You want an AND gate that says, when this one is green and this one is red, right? Or AKA, you could put a NOT gate off of this one and have it go into the AND gate, right? So then it'll be green. I could show that in a future episode. Right now I don't have that researched, and I kind of want to move on. Also, by the way, we've now set up a little kind of thing on our outside here to be able to come down and access water. It'll actually probably be smart to move our pitcher pump onto the right side here so they don't have to run as far. We'll actually throw that down. And with that, we have officially kind of gained the ability to do some outwards expansion, right? Next thing, which actually I think I can fit into this video, I'm gonna build and kind of show how you should organize your what are they called? Oxygen mask checkpoints. Alrighty, so now that I got this set up, so before you get exosuits, what you're gonna be working with are oxygen masks, right? And they work just like how exosuits do. Basically, you have two main items, the dock and the checkpoint. Which, by the way, you can find both of these under stations. You always want to put your checkpoint here where you want your exit to be, right? So we want any duplicant who gets to this checkpoint to be wearing a mask. You then put all of your docks immediately either to the left or to the right of your checkpoint, depending on which direction the arrow of your checkpoint is pointing, right? So ours is pointing to the right, so we want all of our docks to be on the left side here. The other thing I've set up here is a gas pump that's pumping oxygen from the area around and filtering just the oxygen into the mask docks. From here, I also put a little oxygen diffusion nearby, and I have a second one here and a third one here. These two are for the base because we now have more than 5 duplicants, meaning we need 2 diffusers, and this one's mainly just to produce oxygen for our little pump here. So that's pretty much all you need. And as you can see right here, if we watch Meat, he's got himself a little mask. So he came through here, he took a mask off this dock, and now he should be breathing clean air, even though he's in carbon dioxide. So he can spend as much time as he wants down here as long as there's air in his mask, which is significantly longer than him just holding his breath, right? There is one slight issue that we'll have to fix in probably the next episode. And that's the fact that our power grid is still just 2 little hamster wheels. And we currently have everything plugged into this just low watt power wire that can only have a total load of 1000 watts. And we have a potential load of almost 2000 watts. Which basically means that if all of our machines operate at the exact same time, our wire will start to break. And it will like physically break the wire, and you'll have to rebuild it or repair it. So it's always good to make sure you try to avoid that high potential load. So what we could do is either have 2 separate power grids with hamster wheels. Well, no matter what, we're going to have 2 separate power grids. But we can either keep with hamster wheels, or we can now start to move over to coal generators and do some hatch farming or ranching next episode as well, with these kind of empty spots we've left ourselves up here. That'll also provide us with meat that we can use to replace our kind of meal wood that we've been using for a food source. But that's all I have for today's episode. We've decided to finish up the oxygen mask docks. We've set up carbon skimmer and our gas pump, tanks for reservoir that we'll hopefully use for our rocket ships in the future. And we kind of have a plan for next episode. Alright, well with that, I really hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all were, those of you who were able to learn some stuff, I hope that you're able to use it in your own worlds. And if you have any questions or anything about like how this is set up, or any suggestions, please put them in the comments. I really love and appreciate any comment feedback. It lets me know that my viewers are, well, it lets me see the engagement, and it's really nice to see. But I hope you all have a nice day, and I hope to see you all in the next video.